So the restrictions in terms of persons who are fully vaccinated rather, would apply to clubs, bars, and now gymnasiums. You're asking the question as to whether or not that there are some bars that serve food, and then there are some restaurants that have bars. Typically, when you sit at the restaurant, as part of the fare, one may order an alcoholic beverage. And so where the bar is dispensing that alcoholic beverage and it's being served, that is not a part of the consideration. That's not the challenge for us. It's a question where people would sit and would have multiple drinks in a bar environment and that type of activity that attends to it. And it's going to have to be managed by exception. When I say that, I mean if it turns out that there is a restaurant that purposely or involuntarily converts itself into a place of social entertainment to provide for dancing and a club and bar environment, then of course we'll have to bring the restrictions into play in that particular environment. But that will have to be based on observation after the fact. Now, in relation to the whole question of who is going to be monitoring that, a part of the obligation rests with the owners themselves, because they will have to weigh in the balance how much risk they want to take with their business. We know that everybody had a major discontinuity of business last year when we had the shutdowns. And if we're now seeing a rekindling of business, one may not want to risk having that business being forcefully shut down by any breaches to the regulations. So we have ensured that when we crafted these new regulations, we place a significant onus on bar owners and club owners and now gymnasiums that you will be required to ensure that you inspect the persons who come into your establishment and act as that point of filter. The Ministry of Health, through the Central Board of Health, working adjacent with the law enforcement, will act as the enforcement agencies, meaning that they will be obliged to do additional inspections. We would have had a series of inspections that would have taken place last year in the English Harbor area that would have led to some shutdown of some of those establishments. So it does not change the pattern of enforcement. Based on inspection, and then if it turns out that a bar owner, a club owner, or a gymnasium has permitted a breach of the regulations, then they will suffer the financial consequences.
And then the final question about the tourist relocals, the application of the rules.
Well, I mean, the same will apply in those three establishments as well. So if there are tourists who would want to attend to these particular events or to these businesses, the same would apply. And if the tourists cannot produce any evidence that they are vaccinated, then they should be turned away. And if that is not the case, then both persons will be in violation of the regulations and will be treated accordingly.